Some children speak through laughter, others through silence. Yet every emotion hides a message we've forgotten how to hear. What if the sadness in your child's eyes isn't just a bad day? What if it's something deeper, something that's been waiting quietly for you to notice? Depression in children doesn't announce itself with words. It whispers through withdrawn smiles and uneaten meals. It lingers in the spaces between conversations, in the reluctance to play, in the tears that seem to come from nowhere, and yet we miss it. Not because we don't care, but because we're looking for adult sadness in a child's world. Research shows that about 1 in 5 children and adolescents globally experience depression or depressive symptoms. That's 21%, and this number has been rising steadily. In the United States alone, more than 5 million teenagers experienced at least one major depressive episode in recent years. Yet over half of them received no mental health treatment at all. Think about that. Millions of children, going through the motions of childhood while carrying a weight no one can see. Depression in children, as young as 3 years old, often goes unnoticed. The challenge is that childhood depression looks different from what we expect. Adults with depression might stay in bed or express hopelessness. Children, on the other hand, might act out. They might become irritable, angry, or disruptive. They might complain of stomach aches or headaches. Or they might simply fade into the background, becoming so quiet that we assume everything is fine. The children who need help most are often the ones we overlook because they're not causing problems. And this is urgent, because depression in childhood doesn't just affect the present. It shapes the future, predicting relationship challenges, academic difficulties, and a higher risk of suicide later in life. But it doesn't have to be this way. When we learn to recognize the warning signs, we can intervene early. Understanding childhood depression begins with seeing it clearly, not as a character flaw or a phase, but as a real medical condition that deserves compassion and treatment. Let go of what you think you know. Depression in a 5-year-old doesn't look like depression in a 50-year-old. The core symptoms are their increased sadness, changes in sleep and appetite, loss of interest, but they wear different masks. A depressed child might seem perpetually grumpy. They might have frequent tantrums that feel out of proportion. They might become more self-critical, saying things like, "I can't do anything right," or "nobody likes me." These aren't just fleeting thoughts. They're persistent beliefs. Research identifies several key warning signs to watch for. First, a persistent sad or irritable mood lasting 2 weeks or more. This isn't temporary disappointment. It's a mood that settles in and won't leave. Second, withdrawal from friends and activities. A child who loved soccer suddenly refuses to go to practice. A teenager who was always texting friends now stays alone in their room. Third, changes in sleep patterns. Some children sleep far more than usual, while others struggle to sleep at all. This is often one of the first signs parents notice. Fourth, significant changes in appetite and weight. Some children lose their appetite, while others eat much more. Meals might become a source of conflict. Fifth, physical complaints without a clear medical cause. Headaches, stomach aches, or general body pain are common manifestations of emotional distress. Sixth, difficulty concentrating and declining school performance. A previously engaged student might seem distracted or disinterested. Grades drop. Seventh, expressions of worthlessness or guilt. When children believe they're bad or worthless, depression has begun to distort their self-perception. And eighth, the most serious warning sign, thoughts or talk about death, self-harm, or suicide. Even young children can have these thoughts. Any mention of wanting to die or wishing they weren't alive requires immediate professional attention. These symptoms must persist for at least 2 weeks and represent a change from the child's typical behavior. Every child has bad days. Depression is when those bad days don't end. Depression in children doesn't appear from nowhere. It grows from a complex interplay of biology, environment, and experience. Genetics plays a significant role. Children whose parents have depression are at substantially greater risk. Brain chemistry also matters, as imbalances in neurotransmitters can disrupt mood and emotion. But biology isn't destiny. Environmental factors often act as triggers. Major life stressors like parental divorce, the death of a loved one, bullying, or academic pressure can all precipitate depression. Chronic anxiety is one of the most common pathways. When constant worry wears a child down, depression often follows. Even parental depression itself creates a cycle. Depressed parents often struggle to be emotionally responsive, and their children learn emotional patterns from caregivers who are themselves struggling. Social factors like poverty and discrimination also contribute. And of course, technology and social media have introduced new risks for adolescents, fueling feelings of inadequacy and isolation. The stigma surrounding mental health keeps many families suffering in silence. But it's so important to understand this. Depression is not caused by bad parenting. It's not a reflection of a child's character. It's a medical condition, as real as diabetes or asthma. When we understand its roots, we can respond with empathy instead of frustration. We can see that a child's irritability isn't defiance. It's pain, and pain can be treated. Once depression is recognized, healing becomes possible. Treatment for childhood depression is effective, and early intervention can change a child's life. The first step is assessment. If you suspect your child is depressed, talk with them. Create a calm space and ask open-ended questions about how they're feeling. Listen without judgment. Next, consult professionals. Start with your child's pediatrician to rule out medical conditions. Then, get a referral to a child mental health specialist for a comprehensive evaluation. Treatment typically involves psychotherapy, medication, or both. For mild to moderate depression, therapy alone is often the first choice. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, helps children identify negative thought patterns and build coping skills. For moderate to severe depression, medication may be recommended. Antidepressants, particularly SSRIs, can help correct chemical imbalances in the brain, making it easier for a child to engage with therapy. The combination of therapy and medication often produces the best results. Parents play a crucial role. Your child needs to know you believe them and that you're committed to helping. Be patient. Keep communication open. Practical support also matters. Ensure they get enough sleep, exercise, and nutritious food. Structure and routine provide stability. Limit screen time. Encourage connection with supportive friends and family. Talk with teachers and school counselors. When children feel surrounded by caring adults who understand, recovery becomes more likely. And a crucial reminder, if your child expresses thoughts of self-harm or suicide, seek immediate help. Call a crisis hotline, take them to an emergency room, or contact their mental health provider urgently. These thoughts are serious and require professional intervention right away. Recovery from depression isn't linear. There will be setbacks, but with proper support, children can heal. They can learn to manage their emotions and move toward a healthier future. Understanding childhood depression changes how we see our children. It asks us to look beneath behavior to find the emotion, beneath silence to find the pain. Depression is more common than we'd like to believe, but recognition is growing, treatment is improving, and awareness is spreading. The most important message is this: you are not alone, and neither is your child. Depression is not a failing, it's not weakness. It's a medical condition that responds to treatment. Children experiencing depression need adults who can hold space for their pain. They need patience, understanding, and consistency. Most of all, they need to know that someone truly sees them and isn't turning away. Early intervention matters profoundly. The earlier depression is identified, the better the long-term outcomes. If you recognize these signs in your child, trust your instincts. Reach out. Take that first step. Seeking help isn't giving up. It's standing up for your child's well-being. And remember to care for yourself, too. You deserve support. Your child's depression is not the end of their story. It's a chapter, a difficult one, but not the whole book. With understanding and treatment, children can move through depression toward healing, growth, and hope. The warning signs are meant to guide us, to remind us that asking for help is an act of love. Every child deserves to feel joy, and with awareness and compassion, we can help them find their way back to it. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing for more content that matters. I see you, I'm here, and we'll get through this together.